Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Dense Entrance in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled, "I contacted my ex's fiance without his consent. I'm a 30-year-old woman who was engaged to Anthony, a 32-year-old man, 4 years ago. Our relationship ended for a number of reasons, but we had been together since high school. We did not have the best ending, and there was a lot of hurt. I moved across the country when I left our shared home. We cut contact following our split and have remained out of contact ever since. We have mutual friends, so I occasionally receive updates about his life, and I'm sure he receives the same. 5 years ago, Anthony's mother, Liz, passed away after a long illness. Because we were engaged, Liz gave me a letter and a wrapped gift that she wanted me to give to Anthony on our wedding day. It was not specific to our wedding day, but since she knew she would not be there, she decided I should be the one to deliver it. She asked me to keep it between us. She did not want her ex-husband or other children to know. 8 months later, when we actually called off the wedding, I had forgotten about these items because I had stored them in my childhood bedroom for safekeeping. In the midst of moving across the country, I left the items behind, which I am aware was careless. Fast forward to now, and I recently learned that Anthony is engaged to Beth, who is in her 30s. My first thought was that I am really happy for them and wish them all the best. Then I started thinking about our canceled wedding and his mother. I really loved her like a second mother, and I was struck with the sinking feeling that I still had the letter and gift from her and had never returned them to the family. I then remembered Liz asking me not to share it with her other children or ex-husband. While I am unsure of the exact reason, I think it is because she had done the same for her other children, but I am not sure who is holding on to their letters and gifts. I brought it up to my husband and explained how guilty I felt about still having these things and that I did not know what to do. Together, we talked through all the different options. I could have called Anthony, but felt it would ruin the surprise on the actual wedding day, which was what his mother wanted. I could have contacted a sibling, but then I felt it would ruin their surprise since they are not married yet. I thought about reaching out to relatives, but I just did not know who. I settled on Beth. It just felt right that Liz wanted it to come from his soon-to-be wife. I reached out to her via social media direct message and wrote her an extensive letter detailing what I have stated above. I told her she could do with this information what she wanted and that I would be in my hometown next month and would love to give her these items. Apparently, this was the wrong thing to do. She told Anthony about my message and he is angry that I reached out to her. He says I have no business contacting his fiance. I am torn now because I was honestly trying to honor his mother's wishes and return the items to their rightful owner. I really felt like I was doing the right thing for everyone. Update. In case anyone is interested in an update to this story, I heard from Anthony again over the weekend, but this time it was a phone call which I was very surprised about. We have not spoken a word to each other since the day we broke up. Well, he was at a get-together with friends on Saturday, and he was still pretty angry about my reaching out to Beth. He was telling some of the partygoers about the interaction and that I should have never reached out to her. The following is what he told me about their reaction to the conversation. I guess the people he was talking to thought that he was overreacting. They told him that it sounded like I was trying to fix a mistake that I made and did not mean any harm. So then his best friend Mike asked him why he was really angry. Anthony said this got him thinking about his reasoning and he realized he was not actually mad about my contact with Beth, but about the fact that 4 years ago I actually moved and cut contact. He said that when he decided not to move, he was sure I would change my mind, and that when I left, it was a total shock to his system, and he was really angry with me. I acknowledged that the way I left was terrible, but also implored him to take responsibility because he completely blindsided me and left me with very few options. He apologized for this and for his anger, and I apologized for leaving and cutting contact. I let him know the dates I will be in town and that I would happily send the items to them if he gave me his address. Instead, he asked if he could come to pick them up, which I said was fine. Overall, it was a good conversation that I am glad we had. I doubt we will ever be friends, but I am glad we seem to be at peace with each other. Lazy Crocodile said, I mean, the outcome is pretty decent, but I am so frustrated by this because the real story is that this fool agreed to move with OP for a new job, backed out 3 days in advance, and expected her to just drop it. At that point, you have definitely given notice at your current job, secured housing in the new location, and emotionally prepared for a major life change. Is then mad at her and tells himself and everyone else that she abandoned him. I am so mad at this person, I do not and will never know. Koigon said, I am kind of shocked she calls her moving away like they had agreed until he changed his mind out of nowhere only a few days beforehand. That is a terrible thing to do. I am kind of shocked, but kind of not. Really, that sort of thing would be a big deal breaker for me. Internal advisor said, this was surprisingly a decent outcome. Watch it get crazy when he meets up with her. To this user, Big Sugi said, that was 2 years ago. If it did get crazy, I do not think we will ever hear about it. This story was posted by a throwaway account in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, My GF just gave birth to our first child. I know that I'm not the father, and I revealed that as soon as she gave birth. My girlfriend just gave birth to our first child. I know I am not the biological father, and I revealed that I knew as soon as she gave birth. I will try to keep this short because I am planning to go to a bar soon. I found out when she was about 6 months along. The guy, Brian, approached me at my work. Are you Sarah's boyfriend? I said yes and asked what he wanted. He said he was sorry that he had slept with her and swore he did not know that she was with someone. He then pulled out his phone to show the text between them. They had been sleeping together or linking up for at least a year. Then she found out she was pregnant and they came to an agreement to just pretend the baby was mine. In return, she would not lose her perfect life and he would not be responsible for a baby. I knew it was weird. We had been having problems trying for a baby and all of a sudden she got pregnant so easily, but he explained that he had been thinking about it and that he recently became a Christian. He said that he could not live his life knowing that I was living a lie while his child did not know their real father. So yes, I told him I would keep in touch and to not say that he said anything just yet. I had a lot of time to think, but ultimately I decided to wait until she gave birth to hurt her in her most vulnerable moment. I will spare the details, but she went into labor, the baby was born, and was taken to the neonatal intensive care unit to be monitored for a bit. What should have been a beautiful moment of me holding my baby was the most heartbreaking time of my life. Just knowing he was not mine hurt me. Once she was sewn up and comfortable, I started packing up my stuff to leave. She asked where I was going and I just told her, I know I am not the baby's father. You can act all shocked, but I know. Just ask Brian to come. I am positive he will sign the birth certificate. Then I left. She has been calling my phone over and over and has even gotten her sister to call me a few times. It was hard pretending these last few months, but I think I am satisfied. I feel really, really heartbroken, though. I was planning to propose to her on the day our baby was born. I was going to make her the happiest woman ever. Oh well, I am going to go get intoxicated now. Small update, my head hurts, but I am home and safe. I was not really expecting this to gain as much traction as it did, but I will clear up a few things. Brian is going to be in the baby's life if it is his. I do not care what anyone says. I am sure the child is not mine. I will go get tested, but Brian and I have been in contact since last night, and there is no doubt in my mind. For those of you calling me a psychopath or whatever, I do not really care. You will all forget about this post in a day anyway, while I will have to live with this for the rest of my life. What I did was not amazing, but I do not care. All I ever did was treat her amazingly, and this is how she pays me back. If you think this is fake, go read something else. It does not matter to me. Update. I just wanted to start by saying I would have updated sooner, but it takes a while to get test results back. I have also been working on myself in the meantime. Thank you for all the support. I will cut to the chase. I am not the father, but I already knew that deep down. Brian and the baby are a match, so that answers that question. He is very excited to be a father, even despite the circumstances. We have kept in touch this whole time, and he is actually a really great guy. He goes to church now, volunteers at shelters, and so on. I am not sure if we will continue to stay in touch after this, but I would not mind getting a drink with him every once in a while. I hope the child does great in life. They should with Brian as their dad. As for Sarah, around the time I posted, she asked Brian to be with her officially since there was nothing to hide. As far as I know, he has not taken her up on that offer and just wants to co-parent for the sake of being in his child's life. I think that is very smart of him, honestly. She and I have talked as well. We discussed where it all went wrong. She felt as though I was not there for her fully and just felt unfulfilled, which I understand. I was not always the best guy, but I treated her as well as I could. I guess it just was not meant to be. She started crying and I gave her a hug, but I made sure she knew it was not because I cared about her. She has offered to stay friends and for me to visit if I want, but I declined. I am not really interested in keeping up with her and her child, but I did give her the stuffed animal I was planning to give our child one day as a gift. She has been staying with her mother and has fully moved out her things. She asked me to keep her number, but I blocked her the same day she finished moving out. So it is just me now. I am not going to lie, my heart has been very heavy, but I think I will be okay. There is a kind woman at my work and we have been talking. She is a single mother and has been wonderful so far. I explained that I wanted to go slowly because of my recent breakup and she understands. We have been intimate once or twice, nothing serious yet. I just want to be by myself for now, but I will likely give her a chance when I'm ready. That is it for now. I am feeling depressed, but I am working out now at least. I never want to talk to Sarah and will likely never see her again. It is hard because she was such a big part of my life, but that is over now. Thank you for all of the support. I will answer questions if anyone has more. Edit. I just wanted to mention that I still do not feel bad about what I did. I can tell she is still hurting, but I definitely think it is still deserved. Update 2. I keep receiving direct messages asking me to provide an update, so here is one. It has been roughly 8 months. No, I do not talk to Sarah. Forget about Sarah. I have not seen her. Last I heard, she moved 3 hours away with her mother to be closer to some family. I used to see her around town quite a lot, so I am extremely grateful she is gone. She tried to have conversations with me during the first month after she gave birth, but that soon stopped. As for Brian, we text occasionally and we did go out for that beer. He seems genuinely happy to be a father, but we do not talk about Sarah. I do not keep up with him much anyway. We are both hard-working men with jobs, children, and lives to live, so it is difficult to keep up. I do not think he and Sarah are together at all, but who knows. Speaking of children, the woman who was a single mother that I started seeing, we are still together. Her child is wonderful, and I love being her stepfather, to be honest. So a big middle finger to those who told me to stop talking to her or claimed it would not work. It may seem like we moved quickly, but at this point I do not care. I have never loved anyone more. We communicate well, hardly ever fight, and just have so much fun. Initially, I was going to cut all contact with her after falling into a bad drinking habit, but she really kept me grounded. I did not meet my stepdaughter for a while, but when I did, I knew I could not leave. Being a part of this little family has healed me in ways I truly cannot describe. And before anyone suggests that I just use them to deal with the trauma of not having my own child, that could not be further from the truth. I am in therapy, I have my life together, and most days I do not even think about my ex. In fact, I even forgot about this account. Words cannot express how much my life has improved. Thank you, strangers on Reddit, for being there during the darkest time of my life. It genuinely helped. I am hoping to propose to my girlfriend sometime in the future. That is it. Goodbye. Kitchen Owl said, "Oh buddy, that was a really fast rebound." To this user, Eins2 said, "This casual attitude towards sex, especially while on the rebound with a single mother, is just yikes." Tender Rain said, "I feel like waiting 3 months to pull the trigger is worse for OP's mental health and not worth the nuclear revenge effect he was going for. I hope he seeks or sought out therapy." This final story was made in the same subreddit by a user named Impossible Cheek. The post is titled, "I have been lying to my husband about my religion our entire relationship. I am a 25-year-old woman and my husband, who is also 25, and I've been together since we were in high school. Both of my parents were raised as Orthodox Christians and they did marry in a church, but it was mainly so my grandparents would not disown them. They did have me baptized and we occasionally attended church when my grandparents visited. However, I identify as an atheist." Our high school friend group, while not from a religious school, included many people affiliated with Christianity. As someone who had always felt embarrassed whenever church was mentioned, being in that group allowed me to talk openly about my few experiences with it. However, as many teenagers do, I lied and exaggerated how religious I was to fit in. This was partly because my husband, who I liked at the time, was Christian. While he had dated people who were not religious, I thought appearing religious would give me an advantage in pursuing a relationship. I acted as though I believed in God completely, even though I do not. We started dating at 15, bonding over God, and he would invite me to his church. I always felt a bit guilty, but assumed the relationship would not last long. Sometimes I felt doubtful and considered ending things, but just a few weeks into our relationship, he began talking about dating with marriage in mind and loving over lust. As a teenage girl, that felt like something straight out of a storybook and made me feel special. As our relationship progressed, I kept hoping that going to church regularly with him would eventually lead me to believe, so I would not have to admit I lied at the beginning. He proposed at the end of 2022, and we were married in a cathedral last year. While I know I should have told him the truth then, the moment felt too perfect to ruin and I was scared. After nearly a decade together, leaving did not feel like an option. I do not know what to do. I feel as though I am living a lie. He does not believe in divorce, so even if I were to tell him, I am not sure what would happen. Update. I told him I could not carry the weight of it any longer, so I confessed everything. How I lied at the start, how I do not believe in God, and how I tried to force myself to believe for his sake. He did not yell, he just sat quietly. To clarify from my last post, he is not Orthodox, but Protestant. When we were in high school and talked about religion, I would say that I agreed more with Protestantism than with the faith I was supposedly part of. When we married in a church, he completely believed I had converted and never doubted my new faith. After I told him everything, he left. He went to his parents' house and I did not see him all weekend. He did not call, text, or reach out in any way. On Tuesday, he returned home and sat me down to talk. He is understandably heartbroken, not because I am not Protestant, but because I lied. He is unsure whether he loves the real me and his trust is broken. I asked him how he wants to move forward, but he has not yet decided. He has always dreamed of having a family with me and does not want to lose that, but my confession has already destroyed that dream for him. I suggested we try relationship counseling, but he says he is not ready and is afraid they will try to save the relationship rather than give truthful advice based on his past experiences with family therapists. I truly hope he wants to stay and forgive me for what I've done. I explained that if we have children, I am willing to raise them with Christian beliefs and continue attending church with him, though I worry this might build more resentment. I love him very much and would do anything to help him want to stay. Optic GD said, trust is gained in drops and lost in buckets. Is amazing. Unassuming Bot said, yup. Now, the husband who has never believed in divorce must come to terms with either divorcing or learning to live with her. Even worse, she wants to raise any children to follow a faith she does not believe in. To this Zorp Schlorp said, the children issue is significant, and I do not think she realizes how difficult it will actually be to teach her children beliefs she does not hold true. Children are not pets. They have real, complex thoughts and feelings, and lying to them about something as fundamental as religious faith is disturbing. When my daughter was a preschooler, she already had questions, and as an atheist myself, there is no way I could have told her with conviction that Christianity is what she should believe. What I told her was that people have different beliefs and can choose for themselves. How well would that go over with her devout Christian husband? Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.